It's championship season, and we're ready to tell you all about it. This is the Cardinal Report, your weekly 30-minute look inside the world of North Central College athletics. I'm Justin Zipser. Men's and women's track and field and wrestling are in Nebraska and Iowa, respectively, this weekend for national championships. In fact, the two grapplers that have qualified for nationals are here today. We'll chat with Nick Santos and Josh Tardy, along with their head coach, Kevin Bratland, in just a few moments. We also have men's tennis on the show today. It's a program that has fallen on hard times over the past few years, but this season, the tide has changed. Loaded with senior talent and a new head coach, Nick DeFalco, men's tennis is definitely on its way back up. Before we get to all of that good stuff, let's recap the last week or so in Cardinal athletics. Starting with indoor track and field this past weekend, both the men's and women's teams were trying to get as many national qualifiers as they could at the University of Wisconsin-Stevens Point before this weekend's national meet. Nora Ferguson posted a 1-mile time of just over 5 minutes for a personal best at the meet, qualifying her for nationals. She's joined in Lincoln, Nebraska by Liz Composto and Brooke Patterson on the pole vault, Madison Renfro in the 60-meter hurdles, Jocelyn Redlinski in the pentathlon, and Ebony Stallworth in the shot put. The final computer team rankings compiled by the United States Track and Field and Cross Country Coaches Association have the women's team 11th in the nation heading into nationals. Speaking of rankings, the USTF CCCA also says the men's team is ranked 5th in the nation and is bringing 11 athletes along to Nebraska for nationals. Of that large group, 5 alone will compete in the 5,000 meter. Johnny Crane, Troy Kelleher, Ben Dyczynski, Luke Nally, and Ryan Root. That's the most for any team in a single event this year. Crane, Kelleher, and first-time indoor national qualifier Travis Morrison are locked in for the 3,000 meter. The Cardinals also have 2 relay teams gunning for bragging rights. The distance relay squad consists of Morrison, Crane, Derek Nelson, and Richie Rusk, while the 4x4 relay brings Nelson, Deontay Hackler, Abraham Moshipitan, and Mustafa Aleu to the forefront. Speaking of Aleu, the NCC Junior will compete at the Indoor Championships as an individual for the first time in the 400-meter dash. Congratulations and good luck to all the athletes. Keep an eye out on youtube.com/North Central Sports this weekend for highlights of all the action from Lincoln. Also, congratulations to North Central College baseball pitcher Chris Singh. The senior helped guide the Cardinals to a 3-1 start to their season over the weekend and was selected as the CCIW Pitcher of the Week. Singh towed the rubber for the second half of a doubleheader against Loras College and produced a fantastic line to the tune of 7 scoreless innings. That's a complete game. Only 1 free pass and a career-high 12 strikeouts. The baseball team heads to Florida later this month for the 5-game Russ Mat Invite and gets its home slate at Zimmerman Stadium started on April 3rd, hosting Aurora University. We have lots of wrestling and tennis to get to right after this quick timeout. Keep it locked right here on the Cardinal Report.
Naperville News 17 is your hometown news source, and not just on television. Visit our website, nctv17.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter or like our Facebook page. And if you have a story you think we should cover, email us at newstips@nctv17.com. Naperville News 17, committed to building and celebrating community.
Thanks for sticking with us through the break. Let's start the show with wrestling head coach Kevin Bratland. Kevin, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
Let's talk about nationals. This is, I guess, the culmination of hard work during the season, and it kind of all culminates in Iowa this week. And so, sending 2 wrestlers, Nick Santos and Josh Tardy. Yep. Tell me a little bit about what they've done this season and what you're expecting out of them come this weekend.
They both have had great seasons. Nick has actually had quite a bit of adversity this season, just battling some injuries and that type of stuff. But we always knew that he was capable of qualifying and getting down to the national tournament. And even though didn't seem like being a 5 seed, they only take top 3. You're kind of thinking he's out of it. But the seeding was kind of inaccurate just based on a couple injuries and stuff. So, but we knew that he had a shot at doing it and put himself in a place to place in the top 3, and had a good match, first, third, and fourth, and so qualified is a good feeling. Josh has wrestled some of the best guys in the country all year long. I mean, I don't know how many guys in the bracket he's already wrestled. Probably half almost. And so he he knows really what the expectation is and what it takes to to be at that level.
Going over back to Nick, who is a senior, so he's kind of waited a number of years to get to this point in his career. So what's that like as a coach, watching someone kind of grow up as a person, as a wrestler, and finally get to this moment where they can really make some noise in the national scene?
Yeah, I mean, he's a great story. I mean, just going from his freshman year till now, and all the work that he's put in, and he's been dedicated to the program. And I remember we had a conversation about just why did you wrestle in college? Like I remember even talking to the Naperville Sun, just saying how, credential-wise, didn't have that great of credentials, coming out of high school. He was a sectional qualifier, and even a senior year didn't qualify for sectionals, so it goes regional, sectional, state. So didn't even make it out of the first qualifier, which typically isn't always the greatest, especially as a senior. But he said he didn't, he was still hungry coming out of high school, didn't accomplish some things that he wanted to, and I would say, qualifying for the national tournament is a heck of a lot better than qualifying for the state tournament. So he's definitely done himself well. So. And
Josh is a new wrestler. We talked about him last time you were on the show, and he really has been fantastic this year. 36 wins and has a lot to show for it. Obviously, going to be wrestling in Iowa this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to watch him. He wrestled last year at the junior college national tournament, and like he was saying, he wasn't seeded or was seeded 12th and battles his way through. And Josh he's somebody that doesn't lose his cool very often. He's very level-headed. Dictates the paces of the match and knows how to win close matches. He's won probably 5 or 6 overtime matches just this year alone. So come the national tournament, he knows how to win close matches, and that's important.
So as a coach, now things kind of tighten up as far as focus for you when you're coaching some of these wrestlers, and you've gone through this a number of years now. You usually get 1, 2, or 3 wrestlers in the national championship. So how does that change the way you kind of go about your coaching when it's kind of focused on maybe 1, 2, or 3 wrestlers?
Yeah, the focus is more or less just towards these 2 guys, versus like the whole team as the rest of the season has been. So just keeping them healthy, keeping them sharp, feeling good, make sure they're getting adequate rest, recovery. At this point, you're not learning anything new. You're just staying healthy, and it's more of a confidence thing, and just going in and, like they said, just wrestling hard.
And obviously, the team is obviously more than these 2 wrestlers. You had a number of other wrestlers this season make really big impacts on your team, and finishing with a 7-7 dual meet record. So kind of give me a taste of what your thoughts are on the season as a whole with the rest of your team.
Yeah, I think it's been a great season. It's we've got a great group of guys. They come in, they work hard, they wrestle hard, they want to be good, they hang out in practice, obviously, and outside of practice. And I was very proud of and excited about this season, and look forward to even better ones in the future.
So coming up this weekend, unseeded for these 2 guys, but you always talk about wrestling above your seed. What is the biggest aspect, maybe on a mental or maybe physical standpoint, that allows a wrestler to wrestle above their seed?
I don't know. I mean, seedings are just based on win losses. I don't think it matters that much come the national tournament. Crazy things happen. Anything's possible. These guys are definitely capable of being on the stand. This not being seeded doesn't really bother me. And whoever we wrestle, we'll go out and we'll wrestle them hard and do the best we can, and hopefully they'll be in the top 8 by the end.
It's a good mindset. Certainly stranger things have happened. You've had other wrestlers, go deep into the tournament, but we're looking forward to seeing these guys do some work this weekend, and we appreciate you making some time in your schedule for us.
All right, thank you.
That's Coach Kevin Bratland. We've been talking about him, and in a few seconds we get to hear from him. Nick Santos and Josh Tardy preview the national championships in Cedar Rapids.
Yes, ready? Let's go get it. Oh, come on, Randy. Animal shelter, here I come. And no, I'm not crazy or emotionally damaged. That's a stereotype. I just belong to a total loser. I'm a good dog. So if you want a pet, adopt. And if you see Randy, tell him he dropped his wallet.
Welcome back to TCR, still talking wrestling, and we're now joined by 2 of NCC's finest in senior Nick Santos and sophomore Josh Tardy. Guys, thanks so much for stopping by.
Thank you.
And you guys are heading off to Cedar Rapids a couple days here and going to nationals, and pretty impressive season for both of you. And we'll start, Nick. You're seniors, your first trip to nationals. What's it like to kind of get that monkey off your back and get into kind of the meat of what you want to be doing as a NCC wrestler?
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. Like, I've been waiting for this for 4 years, and I mean, I didn't wrestle in regionals the first 2 years, and last year I placed 5th. So it's kind of awesome, like, for my last year ever wrestling to finally make it down there and wrestle on the big stage.
And Josh, over to you. You're a transfer student, and you were national champion at Harper College, but a Naperville Central graduate, so you know Naperville well. So now you're making your first trip to nationals as a North Central wrestler. What's been kind of the journey for your season?
It's been fun. You know, I've wanted to wrestle on this team for a couple of years. You know, coming out of high school and being able to wrestle with Nick again, and for Kevin and Zobek. You know, they're awesome coaches, and they've taken my wrestling to a whole nother level. So it's awesome being on this team. You're
talking about Andrew Zobek, who's one of your coaches this season, and he's a guy who made a couple of trips to nationals in his North Central career. So what has he kind of told you to expect when you get down to Iowa?
Well, the biggest thing, I mean, I think with us, we're both unseeded, and I mean, just anything can happen. Like, you might see some tough kids off the bat, but I mean, everyone's starts over. It's a new season once you get down there, and really anything can happen.
Absolutely, but you have had success over the course of this season, and quite a bit of success, I should say. So really, what's been that key? I mean, when we talked to Coach Bratland last time he was on the show, he mentioned that you're a very explosive wrestler. And wrestling at 125, I guess you kind of have to be explosive to that degrry. So is that maybe one of the main facets to your game, you think?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have that. I'd say I have like a pretty good style that works for me, and I can hit a lot of different moves at different times, and that really helps me. Just dedicating myself to wrestling this season, like, that's the biggest thing. I'd say taking a little less of a course load and just really focusing on wrestling, making that the biggest, most important thing right now.
Man, Josh, it seems like everyone's kind of taking wrestling a little bit more seriously this year, and you're one of the newcomers. Leighton Binion, another newcomer that's been absolutely fantastic this year. And talking to Coach Bratland last time, he said that it's more of a family this year. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, we're all really close. You know, we hang out a lot. We have a lot of fun together, and just the mentality this year is completely different than last year. You know, everyone wants to come in and put in the hard work, the hours, you know, and everyone wants to win. So we kind of feed off of each other, and we have a good program this year.
I mean, Josh, what got you into wrestling? How long have you been wrestling, and what was kind of the reason you got over to it?
I started wrestling in 6th grade, and my best friend, he's been wrestling since he was like 4 years old, and his dad was the head coach of the kids club, and I've been friends with him forever. So I guess eventually I finally got into it, and I just stuck with it, and I loved it.
That's pretty cool. So, I mean, you guys going to nationals for the first time. You mentioned that you're unseeded. So what are some expectations? We'll start with Nick here.
I guess just to go out there and wrestle hard. That's kind of been the expectation the whole season. Just go out there and just fight. Be a tough takedown and just wrestle hard. Just give it your all, and whatever happens, happens. But as long as you go out and you go as hard as you can go and walk off the mat when you're done and like feel good about it, then that's basically what's expected.
Similar thoughts for you, Josh?
Yeah, I like to say I've been in this situation before, and just last year I was seeded or like 12th or something like that, and coming in, then eventually winning it. So I know where my mind has to be and what I have to put in to be able to accomplish the goals that I've set for myself this year.
36 wins for you, 26 for you, Nick, and excellent seasons all around. We appreciate you stopping by, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
We're not even close to being done on the Cardinal Report. First-year men's tennis head coach Nick DeFalco is our next guest. Stay tuned.
Hi, my name's CJ. A few years ago, my father became seriously ill. I did what I could do before he passed, but it took its toll. I lost my job, my house. I'm getting back on my feet, but I don't know when there'll be food on the table. How'd I do, CJ?
We could be twins.
Well, cousins, maybe.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
More Cardinal Report coming your way now. North Central College men's tennis head coach Nick DeFalco taking a break from his busy schedule to talk with us now. Thanks for stopping by, Coach.
Glad to be here.
And you are a busy guy. You, among your tennis duties, you're also the assistant director of transfer admission, so you're all dressed up for your day job, as it were. But you are a men's tennis coach at North Central, and you're a former player for the team, graduated in 2009. So you're pretty comfortable with the program.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, I mean, I've been an avid supporter from 2005 when I started at the school, up through as an alum, when I came back to the college in 2011 as an admission counselor, been trying to go out to matches and things, and had the wonderful opportunity to be able to take over as head coach this summer.
So it's your first year. How's it going? I mean, you have to learn a couple of new things about coaching. I know you've coached before at some private courts, but at North Central, how's the first year going?
Yeah, and it's definitely different from teaching private lessons at the club, teaching at the high school level, which I did for a few years prior to North Central. It's definitely different, all the administrative work that comes with it, and recruiting and budgeting and things you kind of take for granted that athletic director has done for you previously. And coming in, adopting a team who you don't know and had really no say in who's a part of it, just kind of learn where they're at and what their expectations are and their hopes are and goals for the season. So it's kind of a lot of figuring out in the summer and in the fall, but really have found that such a great group of guys and such an easy way to transition in with them to the program, and we've really, I think, surprised ourselves more than anybody else at how well we've been playing and how much fun we've been having in the process.
That's pretty cool. So when you were a player, you went through a couple different head coaches when you were at North Central playing. So from a player standpoint, how do you think that affects the way they go about their business?
I remember in 2009 sitting here for the Cardinal Report, getting asked, what's it like to have your third coach in 4 years? Yeah. And it's a struggle. You got to find out, what their expectations for the team are. Do I have a secure spot? How do they balance the work life, between school and work and any extracurriculars I have? So really we tried to be as transparent as possible from day one, saying, you're a student first, you're an athlete second. Here's kind of my expectations. We want to keep striving to have success in the classroom. And I really kept saying, and the philosophy is, if you exceed in the classroom, you're going to be able to succeed on the court. So kind of balancing those two and make sure we're all on the same page, I think has really helped, and they've really helped them buy into the culture of the new program.
And so far, the team has succeeded on the court, 5-1 in the dual meets. So you just wrapped up your last meet at Res Rec. So a lot of success so far this season. And as you kind of said, you've been a little surprised about how good the team is performing.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. We've been working so hard throughout the fall, throughout the winter, of getting everything down from the fundamentals, especially in doubles. As we talked about previously, if we can always win 2 out of 3 in doubles, we're putting ourselves in the driver's seat for singles, really putting ourselves in a good position to win. So I think the more we keep focusing on hitting in these different areas on the court, getting used to uncomfortable positions, we're just going to keep doing better and better and better. So I think it's great momentum we've built to go into our spring break training trip, first time going to Hilton Head, and then hopefully continue on the success in the conference when it starts in April.
Absolutely. A hot start for the season for the men's tennis team is obviously due in part to the veteran squad of players out there on the Res Rec courts this season, but another infusion of new energy from Coach DeFalco is another reason why. In this week's What's the Word, we hear from a few seniors about what he's bringing to the team.
He definitely cares. He definitely puts in the work, and the best part about him is he's motivating, and he knows about tennis, so that's cool. But in all, he knows what he's talking about, and he's really good at we're down, let's get back in it, and great with technique and really showing us what we're doing wrong during the matches and in practice.
So after we win, he'll say good job, he'll quote some legendary person or something, like what's he doing, why is he quoting this person? But it's been working. And practices are fun, we're more lively, we're more confident. Before, years past we're a little tighter, and Nick's knowing that we're just going out there and trying our hardest, and he's just coaching off that. And also Boris is the assistant coach, and he's been doing the same.
Every time he came up to us, he said, you guys know you're going to win this, man. We've played way harder than that, and we've persevered. So, he just lets us know, you guys are going to win it. Just, when are you guys going to win it, So, just super encouraging, super motivating. I'm so happy we got a coach like him. He's a really great guy. So, I'm happy to see what he does the rest of the year.
So you have a couple of really good seniors in Rustam, Saini, and Josh Rodig. So you kind of incorporated a new group of players, but these players have been in the program for a while. So success individually, what have you been seeing out of some of your players this season? Yeah, and I think just not only success in their results on the tennis court, but also success in helping manage the team. As you mentioned, I have a lot of other duties I'm doing around campus, so really, I'm leaning on them and relying on them to be, leaders on the court and leaders off the court, making sure that the freshmen and the other underclassmen, incoming transfer students, they know where different student services are, they know how to get help if they need it, being able to manage, our court spaces, getting the net set up and things like that. So they've really been,
almost assistant coaches for me throughout the year. So they've been a huge asset to the success that we've had, not just in a sense as the results, but again, as a general organization and management of the team. So, Rustam has had a wonderful season. Playing one is such a hard task. I mean, even if you're playing a subpar tennis program, they always are going to have a number one player who's a stud. So you always know you're going up against the hardest task every single time you step on the court. And the same can be said for Josh. He'll be playing at number one doubles with Rustam. These are solid players at every single school, no matter what their record is. So for them to have such great success early on in the season is such a great way to prepare for the conference schedule, which is going to be a lot tougher than what we've seen thus far.
So you have Hilton Head. The weather's warming up, so you're going to get outside for
just knock on wood, yeah,
for a little bit. So that's kind of the next phase of your season. We wish you the best luck. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
That's head coach Nick DeFalco. More Cardinal Report and tennis on deck. Next, the seniors you heard from earlier in What's the Word join us on the set to break down what's next for the Cardinals.
Today is Saturday.
60 minutes of physical activity a day and eating well can help get your child healthy. Get ideas. Get involved. Get going at letsmove.gov. That's letsmove.gov.
Welcome back to TCR. Rustam, Saini, and Josh Rodig are the final guests on today's show. Guys, thanks so much for stopping by. I know you guys have a busy week, finals week. It's a lot of stuff going on, but we appreciate you making some time out here for us on NCTV. So let's start off 5-1 in dual meets this season. Talking with Coach, how it's kind of been a little bit of a surprise, but really you guys have been looking very good this season. So what's been kind of the key to success? You guys are double partners and in number one doubles. So I guess speaking specifically to doubles, what's kind of been the key for you, Josh?
For me, just knowing Rustam. I mean, I played with him last year for half the season, and just knowing really how we move. This year we're moving together, we're communicating more. We know each other's little ticks and little rhythms here and there, so we really understand how to move together and attack the net more this year than last year. I feel like that's a great part of our success so far.
Cool. And Rustam, over to you. You are the number one singles player, and talking with Coach DeFalco, it's a lot of pressure being a number one singles player. So how do you kind of manage that pressure of being kind of atop the totem pole for this team?
I don't know if it's a lot of pressure or not, because the other team also has the same exact outlook for playing the match. And so when you go into a match thinking, that's the best player, and I'm, I guess the best player on our team, best guy's going to win. And just taking the confidence, both people might be nervous, and just knowing that you finish off the points and go from there.
That's a pretty good attitude to have. North Central was in action this past weekend against Aurora University at Res Rec. Let's go to the highlight and see how they did. North Central coming off its first dual meet loss of the season, but back home at the Res Rec versus Aurora University. Let's begin with one doubles. NCC's Rustam Saini and Josh Rodig taking on AU's Brian Koski and Brian Hernandez. Cards up 1-0. Serving love 15 on the far side. It's Hernandez moving up to the net and pushing the ball past Saini. Speaking of the net, Cardinals use it to their advantage soon thereafter. Serving on the near side, Koski can't handle the Rodig ace. Later, Cards can't take advantage of the high and long return from Koski. Hernandez does when Saini drops the ball near the net. That sets up match point. But it's not over. Cards force a deuce, and with the advantage here and still serving on the far side, Koski eventually drops a shot wide of the court. North Central ties the match at 7 sets. From there, NCC regains its composure. Rodig on the near side smashes for the point here. Later, it's match point. Hernandez short on the return. 9-8 is the final set tally. Cardinals survive. North Central dominates singles matches all the way down the line. Here's Oliver Muse at number 3. He's up against AU's Matt Butler, but Butler doesn't pose much of an issue for him. Pretty simple 6-2, 6-0 victory. Mason Sass, Jesse Adamson, seen here, and Alexander Vasic all grab victories at 4, 5, and 6 respectively as well. NCC already has 5 dual meet wins on the season, after only winning 3 all of last year. So it's kind of interesting seeing you guys in Res Rec. I mean, this is a kind of a facility that opened up in 2009, and Coach DeFalco, when he was playing with the team, he didn't have kind of the advantage of playing on such nice courts. You have the nice outdoor courts as well. So really, you guys have seen the program advance along slowly but surely, but definitely there's been a lot of advancement for the courts and for the team as well. What I was going to ask you was, what's it like being part of that change, the fact that you kind of grown up along the program?
Rustam, why don't you go first? I mean, you've been in the program a little bit longer than me.
It's great. I wish I could stay here for another couple more years to be with Coach DeFalco, because he's brought a lot of energy and positive attitude to practices, and it's good to be here just for 1 year with that, to see the success that we're having, knowing that it'll build in the future with the Resurrect courts, being able to practice year-round, at no cost, really puts a benefit to us and makes us in better shape for the conference.
For sure. And with Coach DeFalco after the match on Saturday, he told us that preseason training was a little bit different this year as far as compared to years past. Can you elaborate on what you guys have done differently preseason-wise training?
Well, preseason, I mean, we just had more in general. We came in 2 weeks early, did some pretty intense cardio workouts, and just being able to know that we're going to outlast our opponents. We might not be better than them on the court, but we might be able to outlast them in the long run. So that was really one of the big points we made in the fall, just to make sure our cardio is up. And we really did 2-day practices, a couple days, and just really getting into that cardio aspect.
And I assume that when you guys are playing doubles and you go off a long, I think it went maybe many sets in for this doubles match on Saturday, so you had to kind of turn around and go right into your singles matches. So I assume all this cardio preseason-wise helps you in situations like that, where you go from long doubles matches straight into singles.
Yeah, it helps a lot. I mean, it was 9-8 in doubles match. I think for the last couple doubles matches we played, it's been very close, and having to transition right into singles, which is going to be a lot longer. The points are longer. We know we have the stamina to outlast them.
So you go from indoor to outdoor. Coming up here, you go into Hilton Head hopefully in a couple weeks here. And what's the difference, the main difference between indoor playing at Resurrect, where it's kind of a different type of court, to where you are outside?
Yeah, completely different. It doesn't even compare. Resurrect's a more slick surface,
faster,
where the ball doesn't really catch. We both hit with a lot of spin, so it's actually going to be more of an advantage for us when we go outdoors, because our ball's not kicking up, our ball's not reacting the way that it usually would to our advantage. Are the balls sliding on Resurrect? I mean, what would you?
Yeah, I mean, the ball, it's a lot faster in Resurrect, and it's an advantage when you get used to it, when other teams come in. But outdoor, also, you got the wind, which can affect the serve and can affect everything. So, I mean, it's a lot different. We're used to it for the past couple of years of transitioning, though, from Resurrect to outdoor, so it should be fine.
So far, you guys look really good, and wish you the best of luck during the season, and also off the court as well. You have finals coming up, so we appreciate you coming in. Thanks.
All right, thank you.
That's our show, but as always, check us out for a new one next week. Our most recent episodes of the Cardinal Report are also available on demand on our website, nctv17.com. I'm Justin Zipser. We'll see you next time.